The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Yule. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Yule. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
Reasons will become your results. Now, do you have a habit of focusing on your reasons? Think about this. How many times in your life have you talked about all the reasons why you can't do something? Well, in today's episode, I want to show you how you can actually have breakthrough on these reasons that are holding you back from getting the results you ultimately want. So here's what happened. Last night, I was on one of my coaching calls with my 30-day challenge clients. Now, I have 24 men and women in this group. It's a super intense group, and it's a lot of people who are just establishing and wanting to establish these new routines and new habits in their life. But I got into a conversation, and I was coaching one of the men in there, and we started talking about the reason why he hadn't been doing these Facebook Lives that he had committed to. You see, him and another guy in the group had committed to doing Facebook Lives, and one of them had, and the other one, which is the man I was talking to, he hadn't. And so we started talking about, okay, well, what are the reasons like why you haven't done this? And three of the biggest reasons that came up for him is people won't like what I have to say. People will judge me. And so I began to ask, well, what people will judge you? And he's like, people in my church, people closest to me. And then the last thing was, I won't have any value to bring. So the real pain when it comes to not holding through on your commitments, what's the real pain when it comes to you not holding on to the commitments that you say? And why this may be relevant to you is because how many of you can actually relate to this? How many of you fear being judged? How many of you hold back in your own life due to people at church, due to your family, due to people closest to you? Now, I can relate to this because I've done this several times too. And so it was really easy for me to walk this man through this. So I began to ask him more questions. Like, hey, what's the worst case scenario of what happens if you do a video? And he's like, someone won't like it. And I'm like, no, what's the worst case scenario? They tell me it sucks. And I'm like, okay, so worst case scenario is somebody doesn't like it. Somebody tells me it sucks. So worst case is people will not like it. Like, think about that for a minute. Best case is people will find massive value. And as I began to paint this out, I could see his energy begin to shift. Now, I began to ask him reasons why he wanted to do a video, like all the reasons why. And we found out he wanted to improve his business, his marketing, and he wanted to also begin to share his message. He felt like he had a message to impact the world. And I began to ask all the things that he had been committed to previously in his life, and then also things he hadn't been committed to. And what I found was this simple little lesson for him is like, hey, you can either let your reasons be your results, but we also had another lesson. It was when I'm committed, I actually get the results that I wanted. When I'm committed, I actually get the results that I want. So we began to apply this. And right away, we applied this into, okay, listen, when you're committed, you will get the results you want. When you're committed, you've already proven in all these things that when you are committed, you will get the results you want. So are you committed to doing this? And he answered back, yes. But we went through the rest of the things that he had been committed to. You see, he's already lost 10 pounds in his program, in his body, and he's only been in the program for about 3 weeks. His marriage is on fire like never before. And his business is actually doing better than ever. And so there was this physical proof that when he was committed, he would actually get the results that he wanted, that he was actually seeing them in his life. So I asked him a few more questions, and I said, are you really committed to doing these Facebook Lives? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, well, you've said that before. So what's different this time? And he said, I'm just committed. And I said, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. I have to see some type of action. And he's like, okay, I'm committed to doing 2 videos in the next 7 days. And I said, well, that's great. Except here's what I know. Every second, every day, every minute that we wait to do something, there's this little voice that creeps back in our head that says, your video is going to suck. People will judge you. You can't do this. You have nothing of value to say. Think about that. In your head, you have your head that's giving you space, and that little voice has an opportunity to come back in. So me knowing this, I went back and I said, okay, listen, what would it take for you to do a video right here, right now? Like, what would it take for you to do that? And he laughed and he's like, are you serious? And I said, yes, I'm serious. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, listen, keep your camera up, just go live and just begin talking. Talk about what you're talking about right now, since it's the most relevant thing to you. So he went for it. And he shot the video. And when he got done, guess what he said? That was awesome. I feel like a weight had been lifted off of me. I feel like a weight had been lifted off of my chest. And I said, I know, you've been carrying this around for a long time. We were even talking about how long he'd been wanting to do videos. And he said, hey, it's been going back like 2 months. So maybe you're listening to this and you're at a point in your life where you've committed to so many things and you've wanted to do so many things, but you just can't figure out how to be committed to it. You just keep letting that voice in the back of your head creep in and tell you all the reasons why you can't. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to go through 3 questions today. These are the same 3 questions I began to ask him, but these are the questions that actually gave him the answers that he could find. Now listen, I just asked them. He found them himself. He found his own answers. I'm not going to own that as a coach. My job is to simply hold up a mirror and start asking questions. And then he begins to see, or the person that I'm coaching begins to see the reflection in the mirror. My job is not to give him the answers. My job is to ask him the questions so he can begin to seek the answers. And that's what a coach does. And that's what's important to me is, see, I could have gave him the answers, but that's not what my job is as a coach. It's to simply hold up that mirror. So here's the 3 questions. Question number 1, list out all 3 reasons why you're committed to whatever you say you're going to do. Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's doing a daily deposit with your wife, whether it's meditating every single day, whether it's doing a live video every single day, or maybe just posting every single day. Question 2, list out the 3 worst things that could happen and the 3 best things that could happen by you following through with this commitment. And the final question is, what's stopping you from taking action right here, right now? What's stopping you from taking action right here, right now? So guys, I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate you listening to this. My hope is this message resonates with you. this message of reasons becoming your results resonates with you. This message of, hey, whatever I'm committed to, I will do. Whatever I'm committed to, good or bad, I will do. If I'm committed to my reasons, they become my results. If I'm committed to the work becomes my results. My routines become my results. But ask yourself these 3 questions today so you can find the answer that you're looking for. If you have any questions, you have any comments, or you want to dive in further to Habit-Based Lifestyle, this 30-day program that I have to offer, email me, jesse@habitbasedlifestyle.com. I would love to have an opportunity to talk to you about how this can affect change in your life and how this can get you committed to living a purposeful life. Guys, until next episode, have an awesome day.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing.